Alright, good people, good morning. So after doing some research on a certain topic, I've come to the realization that I do not have the means to deal with a certain threat. I mean, I do. Technically, I probably could try to take it on, but I'm not gonna waste my resources on trying it. Um, so here's effectively what's going on. In order to get this to work, I need an ancient civilization core, which is fine. And in reality, the raid boss required, Belle Noire, does have a lot of health and does a decent amount of damage for the level that she is, which is only level 30. The problem is that I'm actually going to have to change the settings of the game. Um, that being said, we're going to unlock it anyway. And I'm well aware I'm going to have to go get 3 more points to unlock that. It's on a laundry list of things that I need to unlock. Okay? It's fine. It's just another thing on my to-do list. Along with potentially getting that, because I do have a lot of handgun ammo kicking around, and having something that can do a pretty decent amount of damage is not a bad idea. I also need that for just for base reasons. What I need to do is get down here, though, because of the double jump boots, the refined metal chest, and also the shotgun rounds. So we're about 3 levels away. We'll see what I can pull out of my hat. So here's what I figured out. Belle Noire is very allergic to dragon typing. There's a problem. I do have some dragon typings. Not many right now. But I can also load up a bunch of dragon type moves. All I have to do is go buy, go do the thing. And yes, I did load up on a bunch of Diet Lover Nocturnal Chickadees for the purpose of doing eggs. And because while they don't have much of a packaging ability, which is kind of why I'm refraining from using the Presso too much, they do have it. What I might end up doing is taking some building supplies over to a certain base and make sure that we have enough chickens set up. See, cows don't need to worry about the following things. Hot and cold, they do have to worry about disease, but as long as they're well fed and taken care of, and you keep your thing well stocked, you're fine. Effectively speaking, you could set up like 3 different ranches. One set up specific, or 2 of them set up specifically for mouths, and 1 just for food. Which, if you have them set up correctly, you can do like 4 Nocturnal Diet Lover, if you can pull it off. 4 Nocturnal Diet Lover chickens. And assuming that you have their egg layer ability set up right, it'll increase the frequency of eggs that they lay. Effectively making it so you can have unlimited eggs in a base. Why is unlimited eggs important? Because you can turn unlimited eggs into unlimited cash. It just takes some time. This video, this particular episode, is going to end up being more of a how-to than anything else. How-tos are not really something that I'm used to doing, but we'll do it anyway. So the other component to this, and I know you've seen me go to them in the past, but I will show you what I mean. It is important to have the crafting recipes for these because if you use too much money on one specific thing, it's always good to be able to build them right. But generally speaking, if you go in here, you can buy all the medications for your pals if you choose to. There are certain crafting materials you can purchase. But more importantly, there's your basic ammo types. Having money on hand, and a lot of it, is generally a good idea. So we're going to go over to the new island. I don't remember what they're calling it now. My map doesn't say. Okay. So as you can see, I have 2 ranches. I put some properties in here for a little bit of food variety. But you don't necessarily need it, right? I mean, the proof is in the pudding. You in the bathroom? I have to answer the phone. Telemarketers, little trick that I learned from Asmongold. Say hello, and let them sit on the line for a while. You want to lessen the frequency of their calls and waste their time. Prove that you're going to cost them money, they won't call you back. Because they have to pay the people that call you, and the longer you waste their time, the less likely they'll be to call back. So as you can see here, it's kind of just a pittance, right? Right now. Like, absolutely ridiculously low. Okay. And the way that I have this set up isn't really set up properly. Because we have a Missando, which is good for package carry, but look at the amount of food he can consume. And Capricorn is kind of the same thing, right? So, what you're going to want to do is maybe keep, like, 1 Capricorn in here, but the rest of these need to be chickadees, right? So, let's see, we'll go drop one of those in there. And it doesn't even matter, like, whether you have Mal, Christ, or Mal, because they all kind of have the same, like, food consumption is low. Right? So that'll free up some space in that regard, right? But the big thing that you're going to want to find is... Give me a second to think here. Actually, a couple of these wouldn't hurt. Some Kilamaris. Okay. They have rank low food consumption and rank 2 transport, right? Which isn't terrible. I wish I had a creature that could do rank 4 transports, because I mean, there's a rank 3 and his food consumption isn't that bad either. So we'll probably swap them out. If I had a couple of them with Nocturnal and Diet Lover, then I'd probably be all over it. A little bit heavier, but I like to keep those in my party because they are not Jet Dragon fast, but they're definitely faster than a Vanworm. God, that is so slow. So here's the problem with doing the farming method, right? When you set up the berry plantation farms, they work fine, right? The problem that you're going to constantly run into is always going to be the it takes more pals, really, to do a farm if you don't set it up right. It also takes more resources and stuff. Because not only do you need the ones to actually, like, water, plant, and harvest, you also need the harvesting pals that can move it to the box. It's just better just to set up a ranch with a couple Nocturnal, Diet Lover chickadees. Like, you probably don't even need that many of them. If you can bounce up the egg layer count to a stupid level, you could probably actually get away with only needing about 2 of them. Which, by the way, is actually not that hard. You just have to constantly breed, chickadees and get a ton of them, use the condenser, and just keep maxing out, about 2 of them. You can also do the same thing with the mouse. Take 2 of the mouse, put them in a farm, start making cakes, make a lot of cakes, make them breed a lot of pals, and use the condenser and get the gold digger perk up on probably a couple of them. And we'll probably do that on a main base, right? Like, I'll set up a couple. You don't really have to worry so much about getting Mao with Nocturnal, because Maos are, by their very nature, Nocturnal. The important thing to remember is that these pal beds are not optional, even though they're Nocturnal pals. Nocturnal pals still need the beds, because without them, they'll still lose sanity. On that note, I need to... How much do I need to... Yeah, that's going to be a thing later. Actually, having that would actually help me a lot. I need to have about 3 of them to start. The problem is I have to go kill Belenoir to do it, and I'm not quite ready to do... I mean, look, if I really wanted to, I probably could. I could probably have my fiance and I just kind of nut up and do it, but... What I need to do is go grab these components here for a 3rd range. Okay. Yeah. In fact, I might even look at rebuilding a little bit to get a couple more. A couple more things. So. Here's the thing about Diet Lover. Number 1, Chickapee does not eat a lot. Okay? As noticed by the 1 food rating. Okay? So effectively, they're not even eating their own eggs worth in weight whenever they lay an egg. That's the first, the first big thing. And realistically, what you're going to want to do first for almost all of your bases is probably just breed a ton of these little boogers and get the egg layer maxed out, right? And make sure that they have these 2 perks. Effectively, if you max out your egg layer, you have these 2 perks. Their work speed, according to what I've read on, again, this is Reddit, so I don't actually know. I'm not entirely sure that the work speed is so important. We can make a test case for that and actually set up 2 of them. A base test model, which would be like this one where it's not modified in any way, shape, or form. And then go take some Pal Souls with another one of it, basically a clone of exactly this one. And go see if we can max out the work speed and see if it really affects the partner skill egg layer. According to what they said, it doesn't affect it. Here's my thing about that, though. Farming is classified as a work suit ability. Farming is directly connected to their ability to lay eggs. So, if someone could, in the forums, correct whether it is... I'd like Pocket Pair to actually come out and just say whether this affects it or not, because it is a farming work suit ability, and work speed might have something to do with it. So maybe maxing out the work speed might help, quote unquote. Air quotes here, don't know what I'm talking about, right? But, even at rank 70, it's not going to really affect it that much, to prove my point. Look at those friggin' eggs, right? And they just keep coming in. So, something to remember. Also, if you get a ton of eggs and you decide that, you don't want them to just be regular eggs, you want fried eggs, come in here, build a cooking pot, and just fry up some eggs. If you have your character's work speed up to this point, which is very easy to get by level 36 to get to that point, you can also see that I've had some redistribution of stats here and there. Right, like, I haven't just been doing the work speed, I've been doing other things. There's also PAL effects that can increase it, etc., etc. Effectively, you could turn eggs into an experience farm. So, that's another thing, too. If you chose to. So what we need to do is run back to the main base, okay? Which, zooming out would help, okay? Whenever you move around, zooming your map out can really assist. The ability to toggle things on and off on the map would be nice too. Because, like, if I'm just focusing on, like, finding bounties, I just want them to show up on the map. If I need to bounce between my bases really fast, I want to be able to shut off the map markers like that. Okay, so we got a problem with my main base, and it's less of a problem, it's more just a minorly annoying thing. Drop that. I don't think I can drop that in there because I have this box set up in a certain way. I actually am going to need stone, so. It'll be stone. Oh, excuse me. Fiber and wood. So, I'm not exactly sure on how many you need for it. 30, 20, and 50. We'll go deal with the 50 and we'll go grab the, actually, the 20s right here. Way more than what you actually need. Okay. And there you go. Let's go set up the other ranch. And drop some more mouse. Also, once you get to a certain point, I'm going to offer up a piece of advice. Go into the tech tree. Ignore this crap. Go down to here. Okay? You don't even have to fight Bella Noir to make it work. Okay? Spend the 4 tech points. Build a guild chest here. And then build another one at your main base. You'll never have to come back here. Okay? That being said, it's probably a good idea to come back here. Just because of keeping track of your pals is generally a good, sound piece of advice. Right. We got the three-leaf clover thing going on. Let's see if we can't... I'm not going to mess with it then. I was going to try to see if I could design it to look like a four-leaf clover, because that would be pretty cool, but 3 will work for now. Okay, let's see. Won't hurt nothing. Do we have any diet lovers in here? Okay, so we've got that many. Alright, who has the fracture? You have the fracture. Okay, so that's the thing right there that you really don't want to see. Oh! And the reasoning for it is, do I have medication with me to deal with it? Fractures slow down production. Okay. So there's like 3 different ways to do it. Butcher them. Give them the medication. Or tough it out and just deal with it, right? So as a general rule, however, the tough it out and deal with it method, really not the best way to go about it. So, given that I have a merchant already permanently attached to my base, okay, I don't really have to worry so much about certain things. In fact, I don't have to worry about a lot of things at all. Okay. There's 1. There you are. 4. Feed. Give you. So it's literally like the easiest thing in the world for me to just do that. Another thing that really helps is to go back to the main base. If you think that this is going to continue to be a problem. Being that this is my main base, I keep one stocked over here anyway. It's not completely stocked, obviously. Duh. So I'm not really that worried about it. But what you can do is build one of these medicine cabinets. And I like to keep it near the food stock because then they don't have to go far to get to it. But effectively, it's the most useful item in the game right now because it literally makes it so if they have a problem, they can deal with it on their own. You don't have to deal with it. You can focus on dungeon looting or whatever. So, how this works is you just dump a little bit of money into buying, let's see, 3 of these. We'll go with 4, no, we'll go with 3 of those. Actually, we'll just go with 2 of those. We'll go down to the low grade ones and we'll grab like 3 of those, right? Okay, now. Drop into... That's not my build button. Oh, where is it? I think it might actually be under storage. Or maybe infrastructure. Yeah, there it is. Alright. So, these things are not even that expensive. You need some ingots, some wood, and some cloth, right? Big deal. I got the wood. I can easily have the cloth if I don't already have it in my inventory. I don't, but it's not a big deal, right? Just kind of bounce over here. Make a few of them. Okay. And because I'm a lazy turd and I don't want to go sorting through my inventory, I'll just come over here, buy what? What the hell? We'll just do that. here. You don't want the high quality ones. Well, you do for other things, but not for this. Like 20 of them. Probably too many, but whatever, doesn't matter. Yeah, you don't even need that many. You only need 5 cloth. I grabbed too many on purpose, I suppose. So, I know I have enough wood. All I have to do is make sure I have enough iron ingots. Which is, again, not a problem. I don't have them already in my inventory. Shrug. The wood is probably going to be the bigger annoyance because I now have to go cycle through some more wood, which is fine. There is a faster way to do this. I don't care. I believe that's enough for that. Yeah. Plenty. We're just making one. I'm not making 3 of them. Bounce over to the wood. And we'll just parse off 80 of them. Yeah. Assuming your pals are all well fed, okay? If you want to be nice and make them a hot spring, you can. I have to. Assuming you have one of these. I'll even make it simpler for myself, right? Put it right there. And just drop those, okay? Just keep these in here. They're the only things that the pals in your base are really going to use out of the medication, okay? You will never have to worry about these guys ever again. All you'll have to do is just come back to this chest until you get the guild chest to replace it. Come back here and pick the stuff out. That's it. You now have money in the bank. And if you happen to have a rig that can handle having ridiculously large number of pals in a single base, you can. And I will show you how to do this right now, because I'm probably going to do it. In fact, there's no probably about it. We're just going to do it. Return to title. Save everything automatically. And I'm going to make it a point to do this on recording so you can see it for yourselves. When you go to start your game, before you start your game, change world settings. Now, as you can see, I've been trying to play this by the normal rules. Nothing changed, okay? You can change anything you want to about your world, right? You can even change your death penalties to where you don't drop anything. A thing that I've been considering doing. Now, this number right here is 15. Will reduce the processing overhead. It will actually increase it. It'll make it harder for the system to handle whatever, okay? So generally speaking, you don't need it that high. In fact, it's fine right where it is. Unless you want to have a ridiculously large base. Now, me personally, I like the idea of having a 20 PAL base and having 5 bases. Leaving the rest of the settings, right, because you can go in here and change the difficulties and structure deterioration rate if you actually don't want to have a PAL base per se. just set up one base, but then the rest of the world, if you set it to 0, the rest of the world effectively becomes your oyster. You can build as big of a base as you want. In fact, the whole game becomes your base at that point. You want to be careful with that, however, because of a variety of things. But the biggest thing I'm going to caution against that for is actually processing on your computer. This game is not very burdensome. In fact, not getting too specific on my stats here, but on mine, the RAM, it's not even using 2 gigs, right? Like, it's under 2 gigs. My computer has about 6 to 8, okay? So that's not even an issue. The problem is that on some computers, it can be a little too much. It can also be too much for the GPU. So OBS right now is actually using more than Palworld is, which is kind of par for the course when you're doing recording. But it's OBS utilizes about 47 in recording. Palworld, in gameplay, utilizes about 30, give or take, right? But it's high density, it's 3D graphics, it's not just video encoding. So, and the power usage is always going to be very high. I'm not playing solitaire here, I'm actually playing a real video game. So you kind of want to be very careful with this stuff because you can build it in such a way that you can put so many things down that it can be a problem, right? Like, you can max out your meteor drop rate, or, you know, make it so they're constantly dropping, which doesn't sound that bad until you get to the point where it becomes a problem, right? So, generally speaking, use moderation, be very careful about what you do. I don't put a limit on my base structures, which could cause an issue. And, you know, the game itself, actually, I think that's a native setting on normal. But you want to really be careful about this stuff on some of it. Now, other things, especially if you have a higher end rig, you can max out your PAL appearance rate and just have PALs show up everywhere. Throw it on random if you want to see some real chaos, right? So, yeah. Like, I don't like dropping all my items, okay? Dropping my equipment is kind of a pain. So what I'll do is sometimes I'll just drop it down to drop all except equipment. Or I might even just shut it off entirely because it is annoying, right? No one likes a death penalty. It's just an annoying thing that gets in the way, especially if you're doing streams. It's just kind of a waste of time, right? If you're a streamer, it's an extreme waste of time. Now, this is the random setting down in here. You don't want to mess with this too much, and you can't mess with it unless you have your own world done. And these two, I found out by doing a test run. If you're gonna have permadeath on hardcore mode, don't randomize your world. I spawned in. I took about 2 minutes, grabbed the fast travel point, you know, the first one in the beginning area. I got down below the first waterfall and was instantly mobbed by a Bushi. If you know anything about Bushi, there's a stupid teleport slash thing that it can do. Yeah, that's what it got me with, so there was literally nothing I could do about it at that point in time. It was effectively an insta-kill. Okay? Here's why I say if you're going to do the permanent loss on death thing, I don't have a problem playing in hardcore. That's great. When you put it on random, you're a level 1 when you start out. Random can drop, especially when you put it on, you know, the random setting where you can have the whole world as random. We'll finalize these. We'll finalize those settings and get right back into it. So I effectively have made it so I can make another ranch, and drop some more pals into it. I'm not going to do that right away. And the reason I'm not going to do that right away is because I only have 2 extra slots. It's kind of worth it, kind of not. Anyway. So if you're doing some sort of, like, streaming content or whatever, the last thing people want to see is you constantly respawning over here. I'm just going to fast travel over here. Okay. They don't want to see the intro video 500,000 times because you've spawned in here, right? And over here is a random level 50 or level 60 jet dragon ready to wreck your day, right? Just instantly locks onto you. Like, you set foot through that frigging door, and then out of the blue, bam, you're getting nuked out of existence. It's... You might as well put that annoying British laugh track tune behind it and just let it play, because it's literally all that your stream is going to be worth, is watching you attempt futility. Every time I've loaded into a random world, this whole area has loaded up with level 50 plus pals. Every single time. So effectively, the game is stealth. You literally have to run the creek bed or find a way around into what I call the ultimate safe area. The ultimate safe area being this little creek area right in here. And I'll show you why. I've been over to this area 100 out of 100 times. Okay? And 100 out of 100 times, I've been over to this area. There has only been a small handful of things that have spawned over here, and I will tell you what they are when I get over them. Never once have I had a pal of any sort spawn over here at all. In random, in normal, in hardcore, it doesn't matter. This area right here is effectively the safest area to stand and idle in the whole game. And there's a reason for that. I don't think they have encoded over here any spawn points for anything that's a PAL, you know, at all. So what I have seen spawn over here are these, your Paldium, you know, nodes, that iron ore, one random egg, and there's a Lift Monk statue holder somewhere in here too. Yeah, right there. And other than that, it's just trees. There are no rock nodes. There's a lot of rock, but it's just the ground texture rock. You can't actually harvest it. I've tried. So if you're in a hardcore world and you want a nice safe place for your character to stand, this pool is a nice little take a break area. If you're in random, you've stupidly decided to log in on the hardcore, my number one base suggestion is going to be right here. The PAL invasions don't work very well over here. The reason for that being is it's just impossible for them to get over here. And if you place your PAL box in a good enough way, generally speaking, it's really hard for them to path their way down in here. Because there's only one way to do it. And that's right here. Literally. And the flying pals, you'd think that that would be a problem, right? Don't ask me why. I'm not a Pocket Pair developer. But for some reason, the pals that can fly have trouble flying up cliffs and walls. And as this is kind of like the one safe place in the map that you don't ever have to worry about, I don't want to give them any friggin' ideas, right? I'm not going to waste my ammo on these guys. Unless they have a good pal and everything. It's a Rabunny. Well, I mean, if I wanted to go get some cute Rabunny ears, that'd be great. Which, by the way, I wish that was a skin that you could put on your armor and was not actual armor itself. Because my character would probably run around with those all the time. But, yeah. So anyway, we've covered a couple of things in this video. Making the money in the bank, making it so you never have to attend to it. It's just, why would you want to attend to something that you don't have to, right? Like, the objective of having a base is having a base set up to where you don't really have to worry about it. You can come back here and have stuff to build. You don't want to ever be in a situation, really, except for crafting things like ammunition, which is why you're here. Ammunition and spheres, and maybe one of these once in a while. Like, once. And the only thing you really want to have to craft is this. Right, like a gigasphere once in a while. And by the way, if you have the right tile set up, your crafting time just kind of goes to the floor. Also, I don't need that on right now. So we'll do that. And just a little bit of a bonus here. It is only level 1. Okay. Having this on your character, once over here, any little bit of work speed you can get helps, right? But effectively, your base should be set up to such a way that all you have to do is once in a while come refill on these and ammunition. And that's it. That is it. You should not, at level 30, I'd say about level 30 actually, your base should be set up so you don't have to worry about your pals being sick. You should not be having food issues. You should not have to manually garden unless you actually want to. But these are things that the system in the game should automatically handle for you. Because that's the way the game's built. If you don't have your base set up that way, don't worry about setting up the money in the bank. Don't worry about setting anything else up. Your main base should be set up to handle itself and give you the resources to build things on your own without having to be here to fix things in your base. Okay? Like, yes, there are things that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to assign a pal to your furnace to make sure that you're putting out your ingots. You're going to have to manually make sure that your ingots are being made. You got it. Whatever. Farming, food for your pal's sanity level, and your pal health is all stuff that should be able to be handled automatically at this point in time. Once you're done with all of that, you can just build whatever you want. Yes, refining is the thing that I can make that I haven't started actually working on the stuff that goes with it, because I've been kind of distracted on other things. But, you know, this is the weapon assembly. What I need is actually over here. I just haven't unlocked the better armor yet. No, that's my next level, actually. I haven't gotten that far yet. Get back in your ball. Jesus, dude. That's another thing. Your food meter can take care of itself. Okay, now if you're looking to get some quick experience, cook some stuff. You know what? I don't feel like cooking. Probably be a better way to go. Just don't have to worry about it, you know, going bad. Honey probably be pretty good. Actually, which one's better? Oh, definitely honey. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Just like without question. Now, breeding tip. Two things. Number one, this infinitely preserves your cakes. Always make sure your cakes make it to the bodice. Number one. Number two, whenever you make a cake, either make sure your crafting is high enough to where this timer is irrelevant, or grab a... Don't fast travel. Grab a decent firepower. Let's see. We'll just grab an Arsox for now. Just to kind of prove the point. Okay. Proof of concept. If I really wanted it to go fast, I'd grab that Yormungtide. Alright. And that is an option. And...
Yeah.
Pow.
Oh.
Dude, you're supposed to be working with me on this. Anyway, in theory, he's supposed to do things with you, but he's being dumb. I mean, really dumb. But as long as the cake is in the crafting menu, as long as the resources don't expire, which they shouldn't, you can make your cake and put it in the box. You don't need to have anything in the green. And yes, I did put one of the large, cool-looking blue pal beds in the thing. So for whatever reason, the pal bed isn't working. There we go. And if you have a second player, making cakes can benefit them too. They're a decent experience boon when you make them. But I think that's going to wrap up for this video. I'm going to let them eat cake. And you guys have a lovely day. If you like the content, hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one.